Roy,
Hello, how are you doing?
thank you so much for helping my project.
My pleasure.
Could you say a couple words about yourself?
Troy from the Kemah area, Clear Lake area now. Been kind of semi-retired for a few years, hanging out and enjoying life.
And you like making stuff.
Love making stuff.
Did you know that NASA's planning to go back to the moon?
I did. I follow the space technology sector pretty close.
Would it surprise you that whenever I go up to people at Starbucks on the street around here, about 80% of them have no clue that we're going to the moon?
That actually doesn't surprise me much. I think people are uninformed about what we're doing in general.
That's true. They're all stuck in their information bubbles.
Yep.
So they're probably very hyper-informed about one particular thing.
Yep, one or two, and that's about all people stop at.
What do you think about us going back to the moon?
I think it's a great idea. I think that the argument against is always, there's not much that happens right away. As far as we spend a lot of money, but like, what's the moon have for us? But as we've seen in previous iterations that NASA's had, like, we get all kinds of technologies out of it. And the great thing about NASA is most of it's given to the public to use as they wish. So there's not a bunch of patents on it. So I think if we're going to spend, what is it, point something percent of the budget on something, then innovation and technology is a great way to go. And it gives us something to look forward to, which I think the world desperately needs.
And whenever you think about where it might lead, if you were to look out 200 years in the future, do you see us as being on multiple planets at that point, or we're still just on one planet making little short trips?
200 years. I see us maybe being on other planets, but not in any kind of mass. We may have an outpost on something, maybe even, 100,000 people on Mars or something. But I think that there's just a lot of technological hurdles that are going to require us to keep that supplied by what we do here on the on Earth. And I think it's a really tough problem to solve in the short run of even a couple hundred or 1,000 years. But I think I could be pleasantly surprised.
Well, it's amazing how like food shortages, at least for like the Western world or the Northern world, isn't a thing anymore.
Questionable processes, but
that's really sure.
But I think we're doing really good, and I think technology always, can get us over whatever hurdle we look at. It's a matter of putting the time and energy into it, and getting, I think as much as anything, getting regulation out of the way in some senses. Put up guardrails instead of lanes to keep people, from doing stuff like Elon, with his rocket programs. Most people wouldn't even think that all that technology that we have in NASA and in our military is actually just public companies. It's not the government owns all these companies and is directing them. It's individuals out in the U.S. and across the world coming up with ideas doing this. So I think let those people give them funds and let them have free reign.
Troy, if you could, would you take a trip to space?
I've questioned that. I have a young daughter now, so I probably wouldn't at this point, because I think the technology is as safe as it appears. It's probably, I don't know what statistics say, but probably safer than driving my car through Houston.
Yeah, probably. I've seen.
Which is always a little rough. But it's definitely not in my wheelhouse of knowledge. It fascinates me, but I think I'd hold off, and at least until she's older and can take care of herself a little better than the age she's currently at.
That makes sense. Well, Troy, I really appreciate your time. It was a pleasure to get to talk to you.
Pleasure's mine.